Usually that's the preferred place to restart, and Will Rogers has really struggled on these restarts. We'll see if he can make it a little bit better here.
Holds a pretty close line, but Harvick scoots out in front. Here comes Mayhew in the 17. And now the 9 car, Michael Self behind. And then side by side, Derek Kraus a little bit into Self in the 19 car.
That was very sideways. You see Todd Gillen all the way out on the outside and the dirty dirt and tire debris out there on the outside of turn 2. But actually, Will Rogers was able to hold on a second over Dave Mayhew. Impressive driver on the outside of turn 2.
Blaine Perkins in the 21 gets by Todd Souza, and now Eggleston will come through in the 99. Double file behind him. That's Todd Gillen and Derek Kraus for position.
This has been a good recovery for Todd Gillen. We haven't really seen him challenging for the top 5 throughout this race, but as we come here, this caution, it's aided him a little bit, and he's able to make these moves and maybe put some cars between himself and his championship rival, Chris Eggleston.
I see some grinding going on back there. The 61 of Borneman was involved, and other cars battling in the top 10, trying to find a way through. And it is time now, Parker. We talked about conservation at the beginning, but now it's go time.
You've got to push right now, and you see Will Rogers trying to track down Kevin Harvick right here. These two are going to be pushing the hardest they have all race, especially as we get down to two or three to go right now, because this is where you can't conserve anything anymore. Whoever's in the lead here is where you want to be.
Sorry, I saw Kraus get wide there in turn 12 in the 19 car, just 15 years old, and his first time at Sonoma. Remember that Spec Miata conversation we were having? He was actually here in a street legal NASCAR car. You can tell us all what that is, last week, and he said it was kind of like, there he is in the 19 car, kind of like driving a snowmobile in Wisconsin.
So basically, NASA allows you to do is sometimes take a road car out there on the racetrack. They do what's called a track day, where people take all sorts of different road cars if they meet the safety requirements out on the racetrack, and can do kind of just sessions where you run laps. There's no real lap times or races that happen. You just get to go out there and run laps, and it can be a lot of fun and can be good experience at times to learn a racetrack.
That's what it was for Kraus. He said, I've been leaning on my teammates all weekend long, but running that race was a particular help as well. 5th for the 19 of Kraus, 6th to his championship leading teammate of Todd Gilliland. And the kid from Bakersfield, Kevin Harvick, when he started talking about coming to this race, he started sharing the old stories about how he and Wayne Spears actually went racing in the K&N West Series in 1998. They didn't mean to. They were running the full-time truck series for the first time, but Wayne said after winning a race and leading the points, well, why don't we run the whole series? And they said, there's just one problem, Kevin, we're not going to buy a second truck to haul the things around. You're going to have to use the old Winnebago and a 28-foot hauler behind it. And that's how they got around. Kevin said it had green shag carpet in it. That thing was a mess, but they got it running, and they took it on the entire series and won the championship that year. Let's see what happened to Nicole Bihar.
See here, we're going off into turn 10, the fastest place on the racetrack, and she looked a little bit wide of the line. And as I said earlier, this place gets very dirty offline. You get that dirt and dust and rocks and some of the marbles off the tires, and if you get offline, it's very easy to make a mistake, as you saw there from Nicole Bihar.
You know, Parker, back to Kevin, sharing those old stories, it's one of the reasons why so many of these young drivers admire Kevin. He didn't come from money. He used up the family money. He went to work as a mechanic for Wayne Spears just to get an opportunity in other race cars, and built himself into a NASCAR champion after that. You know, champion in the Xfinity Series, champion in the Cup Series. He's truly to be admired.
He really is, and he's kind of that old school mantra of, you know, it's not who has the fastest car, the most money, that sort of thing, but who refuses to lose. We see that out of Kevin a lot, and he works incredibly hard at his racing craft. I think I talk about it a lot with young drivers and such. If you want to know a guy who puts everything on the line in terms of what he does to be a better race car driver, then Kevin Harvick is a great example. He works tirelessly to try and be a better race car driver, and a lot of times you may hear him have some of those snarky attitudes towards his pit crew and that sort of thing in the Cup Series. But it's because he puts so much effort and puts so much on the line each and every time. He demands and expects it from the people around him, and that's what makes him the champion race car driver he is.
Blaine Perkins, a 17-year-old from Bakersfield, flat out told me, I want to be just like him. And I think these days you do. You know, Kevin had a growing up period in the sport. He'll tell you that, but he's a true champion now, and as I said, to be admired in this sport.
For sure, for sure. And right now, he's trying to hold off a young man who's trying to make a name in this sport, Will Rogers. And what you're seeing here, where they've kind of been able to stretch a gap, this is a tough position for Will because it's very easy to start overdriving your race cars. You're watching Kevin get away from you, start to build that gap a little bit larger. You can start to push harder, lock tires, and overdrive the corners, and you're only going to lose pace and abuse those tires more. And what you need to do is stick with what's made you successful. We got a little bit of something going on here, the 10 car. You got to be able to not overdrive that car, not push it too hard. You see him go a little wide in turn 11, get sideways off turn 11. You don't want to be doing those things.
Here's what happened to Matt Levine. Actually, Tim Spurgeon happened to Matt Levine. The 86 gets into the 10, pushes him out right there, and yeah. Whoa. Hello. Spurgeon off course as well.
That's an overcommitment to turn 7 there by Tim Spurgeon, and use Matt Levine as a 8 tires are better than 4 situation, I think, at that point.
Saw the 47 of Scott Ivy scoot through there, and Daniel Suarez as well back there. Now, Suarez has faded in the later laps here. Not sure what's wrong with the 12 car, but he's gotten his experience here as well today. Again, getting ready for tomorrow's Cup race. Boy, they just missed that barrier again, Parker.
It's great to watch him there, but I'm actually noticing a little lockup there from Kevin down to turn 7. I think Will Rogers has a bit of positive momentum right here. He seems to cut down that gap just a little bit, and that's just those little increments of getting the gap a little tighter can make you drive a little bit cleaner, can make you be a little bit tidier with the race car, not hanging out, not be all over the place. As they run up on traffic here, this can really help Will Rogers as Kevin catches him in the wrong place right in the center of turn 10.
That was Takuma Koga. He went by. Takuma not having his best day here at Sonoma. Will Rogers certainly is. His second start, actually made his series debut here last year and finished 17th that afternoon. This is a much better drive for him.
Very impressive drive. He is hung right on the tail as we get the white flag here of the Cup champion, Kevin Harvick. And I think, you know, you look at that gap, that's a gap that can be made up here. If there's any slight mistake by Kevin, if Will's able to find a little something, if they run up on traffic, this race is not over when you look at how many corners are left on this just under 2-mile racetrack.
You can see him trying there. Solid 4-wheel drift, and there he's off the track on the curb.
Dirt.
Absolutely. Here
that's
he comes
what you
down.
want to do. Yep. And here as he comes down to turn 4, he's going to destroy that curve, get up on 2 tires. He's right on the back, hung out on Kevin Harvick. He's not going to be close enough to make a move here in turn 7. It's going to come down to turn 11. He needs to stay right on his tail as we go through the S's. Make sure to keep his rhythm. Stay right there. Keep the pressure on Kevin as we go into turn 10 and hopefully make the move in the turn 11.
Saw 2 passes on the final corners in the Cup race last year that took Tony Stewart to victory lane, including one in the final corner. Here they come. High speed, heavy braking. Can Will Rogers do it?
Oh, he lost a little bit on the entry into turn 10, but can he get the run down to turn 11? He's going to poke that nose out. I just don't think he's close enough unless he moves him. He's trying to keep it clean. He's going to the outside. Oh, gets sideways.
And not enough. Kevin Harvick is going to come off the final corner. He's going to win at Sonoma. Coming home, Harvick, victory lane at Sonoma.
Well, it's not like we didn't expect it from him, being
That's
the veteran that he is and the Cup champion, but you can't help but be impressed by that moves and that race by Will Rogers.
Sheldon Creed trying to get a position here. That is for 9th place. He's going to take it from Chris Eggleston. And Creed with a top 10 in the 55 car.
It's going to have big championship implications there for Chris Eggleston, and Todd Gilliland was able to gain a bit of points on Chris Eggleston.
But there's your winner from Bakersfield. And coming to wine country to celebrate a victory on Sonoma, a track he has not won in the Cup Series. Does this set up his tomorrow? We'll hear from him when we come back. Dylan Welch at Victory Lane.
It's been since 1998 that Kevin Harvick has won here at Sonoma, but today is his day. Kevin Harvick, your K&N West winner. And Kevin had to work for that one. Coming to turn 11, last lap. Will's on your bumper. What's going through your head?
Yeah, I think I went a little bit too early there. He had a little bit better drive off of turn 10 and down the hill. So just got to thank everybody from Fields, everybody from Jefferson Pitts Racing for putting this car together. And I've had a blast for 2 days and just brings back a lot of memories and just over here beating around having fun.
when you two were racing each other and Will was kind of trying to chase you down there before that last restart, you got ready to go back green. Any concern at all about not having enough tires to hold him off? That had kind of been the name of the game today.
Well, the first lap was slippery, and I do think I went too soon, too hard. I went with about 23, 24 laps to go, and probably should have waited until about 20 or 18 laps to go to make sure that I had enough tire. But kid did a great job and never slipped the wheel and kept a lot of pressure on me. And it's hard to see his car. This car's got such a big spoiler on it, and his car's so low. It was hard for me to see back there where he was. But just proud of this team. You know, obviously a West team to come out here, and it's been a long time since I've run this race, and I think it's been 19 years since I've been in Victory Lane. So that's the last time I ran here, but a lot of fun.
Kevin Harvick won the K&N Championship in 1998. He won right here at Sonoma. He does it again today.
Dave, what a cool story just for Kevin personally to come out here, get back to his roots, kind of give back this series.
Dylan?
Will Rogers started today on the pole, led a bunch of laps, comes home in the second spot. Had a chance to move him there going into turn 11, but you didn't. Why?
Yeah, we sure did. We had a great race. Big thanks to Jefferson Pitts Racing. They put together one heck of a road course car, and for me to come drive it, I'm just honored. Yeah, we did have a chance there at the end. You know, Kevin and I were battling pretty hard. Spots where he was better than me, spots where I was better than him. I did talk to my crew chief, Jeff Jefferson, and I said, hey, Jeff, what do you think about a little friendly move there? And he said, race how you want to be raced. So I learned a lesson last race in Colorado, and I took that here, and it ended up being a clean finish. But I'm pretty happy to say that we only finished second to a Monster Energy NASCAR Cup champion, so that feels pretty darn good.
Definitely earned some respect today. Will Rogers, a valiant effort, comes home in second.
It's a tough decision for a young driver, Dave. You've got to make that decision between respect and victory lane. And I know he went with respect there, and hopefully Kevin Harvick will repay that respect in helping him a little bit in his career. But, you know, a lot of times for young drivers, it's wins that matter most, and you hate to give one up there in the last corner like you did.
Dylan?
David Mayhew rounds out the podium, comes home in third today. David, kind of quiet throughout the afternoon. Where do you feel like you were the best and made up time there at the end?
We were pretty good there at the first half. We were really just biding our time. And when it went time to go there, we just had no forward drive. We were real good in the switchbacks, so down through the fast stuff, we could make up some ground, but just could not get out of 11 or 7 and just paid the price. Had a good run. Can't thank all the guys, Madorum, MMI. We ran well, and third's not all that bad.
David Mayhew, third place today at Sonoma.
Dave, not bad for a guy who just started a bicycle shop in his hometown of Bakersfield, California. Coming up here and finishing third. We know how good he is at these road courses and in the K&N Pro Series West. Always great when Dave Mayhew runs.